Hey, it's Flango, and today is day, I don't know, X of me going over the tournament decks. So today it is Loki's deck, and it is his Shenlong aggro, I believe is what it is. I've talked about this deck before, I'll show you my variation in a bit. He actually, I guess it's not really aggro, it's just Shenlong. He runs 3 bottom feeders, which is decent, fine. Yep. He runs 3 exchanges, which again might be for anti-dark deal, or they might be, we'll see what else he has to exchange later on. I really like exchange in a sort of deck that's like aggro for a while, kill their enemy, like kill the enemy mana cards, and then exchange your card that killed their mana to get mana. I think that's awesome. And that's part of like I ran this in my Shenlong aggro, which may or may not be aggro, but it's Shenlong. Barrier, he only ran one. I don't like one-ofs too much, but I can actually make an exception in this deck for Barrier. Because really you're getting it later, and you're using it to make it so your opponent can't trade. Because a Shenlong with a Barrier is kind of unkillable. So, yeah, I'm okay with that. Sludge running 3. Sludge is really good for Shenlong, obviously, because he can't attack otherwise. Yeah, I think 3 is necessary. If you're going to be running bottom feeder especially, bottom feeder exchange stuff, then yes. I'm sorry, I'm just looking for the next card here. Warp! Okay, I don't like Warp. I think we've been over this. It feels like a waste of 20 mana. It's a weaker Sludge in this deck in many ways. And if you're going to spend 20 mana on a Warp, why don't you just spend 31 on a force? You know? You know. Anyways, Crabulous. This makes me think aggro, or this makes me think I'm trying to kill the enemy mana. I don't dislike that, except for Crabulous only does 9 damage unless you're on Ocean. I think the idea, though, mainly is like, it's really good with Shenlong because you blow up Shenlong, you play Crabulous, and then you swing, and you're doing 14 damage, so total of 24 in a turn if you just have those 2 cards. Plus Crabulous survives. But I think oh sorry. I think in practice what happens is you never get to hit with Crabulous and swing with Shenlong on the same turn. So unless like they're on top of you, which I guess is actually acceptable. It can be like a defense card because it's 34, right? 34 is not enough to kill. It's okay. It's not enough to kill like a Shadow Lurker or I don't know. What is that enough to kill? Let's do that. 34. It kills Crabulous and below. No big beefy cards at all. So yeah, that's kind of a pass for me on the defense part. It's not bad at all, but it's only okay. Anyways, cloning seeds. Ooh, okay. Shark Warrior. Just one. And Bog Dweller. Alright. This okay, Bog Dweller plus Shenlong will kill a Shadow Lurker or something else. There's not a lot of like good meta cards that are hot. Like, you're not killing a Bog Dweller, obviously. Shenlong plus Bog Dweller is what, 16 plus 5, so 11? Not 11. I'm sorry. It's 21 plus 20, which is 41. So it actually exactly kills. Um, where's the card that I'm looking for? Did I sort by HP? Shadow Lurker. That's it. That's it, really. It kills Shadow Lurker, Giant Scorpion, Forest Wyvern, Regent, and Deep Space. Actually, killing Deep Space in one turn is really good. And killing Shadow Lurker in one turn is pretty great. So I like Bog Dweller, but it's kind of a cheap one of. It's good to like finish games and stuff. So I like it. But okay, let's start by cost. Why don't we just remove Warp and just play Bog Dweller? It kills a lot of cards, and it also just wins you games. Wooden Shark Warrior also is kind of meh. I guess it's because he wanted another Crabulus, but he couldn't run it. Huh. I almost prefer Shark Warrior just for its movement, but Crabulus has its uses. I don't know, I feel like a lot of these cards do similar jobs. Like, Shark Warrior is just a Crabulus, except for it dies. You're not actually, like, playing a lot of Ocean, so I don't see why it needs to be Shark Warrior. I think if it's Icarus, or I guess the better version is Griffin, you just get more health and you can't be stolen by what is going to be a meta deck now that Sturm has decided to bring it to a tournament. And by the way, this is how you should think. If Sturm brings a deck to a tournament, it becomes meta. So you just have to pick a deck that beats it. And yeah. So every chance that you can play around it, you do. Anyways, Griffin is better at killing mana cards, just in general. So I just prefer it. You can pop a Griffin down, kill the mana card, and then exchange it later. Yeah. If you want a card that will fulfill your niche of doing more damage next to Shenlong, you've already got Crabulus in the deck. And you have 2 cloning seeds if you for some reason need more of that, right? And then Crabulus has more health and doesn't take as much damage, or doesn't, or deals more damage too. Sludge, Barrier, Bog Dweller, Exchange. Yeah. I think, like, even still, this deck wants to be streamlined. Do you even need 3 Crabulus? Like, I'd have to play the deck out. It's not a terrible card. I just wonder if, like, it's actually just better to run 2 Griffins. Because they can hit a lot of cards in a way, like, where other cards cannot swing back, right? If you think about Taurus Dragon, which is going to be a popular king, it doesn't really matter if you have Griffin or Crabulus. If you think about Zera, you might actually prefer Crabulus. But Bog Dweller, you want Griffin, right? So it's sort of a catch-22, but I would say that like straight liney cards are preferred by the community. Um, they are just stronger, right, than side jump in general. So having side jump cheap cards when you play the game will allow you to sort of punish these straight line cards or these like single target cards or whatever, right? And it's worth noting that like you kind of want your weak cards to synergize with your strong cards, right? And that's what you were aiming to do when you played Crabulus and Shark Warrior. It's synergizing with your passive. But now we're synergizing movement types instead. So you have a dual zigzag card. It's gonna go next to the opponent, and then like threaten to attack, right? Griffin is going to be able to actually, when Shenlong goes next to the opponent, this is your opponent, Zera's your opponent, you're going to go to Stardust Regent and then play a card here and swing. So now, if Zera is a side jump card, it can't swing here because it will end up here or here. If it kills, then it'll end up here. If it doesn't, then it'll end up here. That's when you click your button that says do 20 damage. And then you click this button that says do 14 more. And all of a sudden, that Zera's looking a lot sadder. Plus, he's on Aqua, so okay, his attack just went up, but he still can't hit you, right? Unless he has a fourth card. Um, but we'll get to that later because this is like I'm gonna talk about why you should run Shenlong. This might be one of the longer videos. But yeah, if he runs away, then you're just hitting him for free. So like yeah, you're getting a good thing out of this no matter what you do. And that's why Griffin Shenlong is good. And that's why Side Jump is good with Shenlong. Um, if you look at Shenlong cards, or Side Jump cards though, you'll notice that not many of them are super synergistic for Shenlong. Raiden's kind of okay. Forest Wyvern's pretty strong. 14 attack is good. Forever Phoenix is cool, but nah, it's kind of underrated or overrated. And then Zera's strong but expensive, right? So if you can get some cheap cards like Griffin, Icarus, Parasitic Wasp, and kill their mana cards with your card that is cheap, then all of a sudden you have a better mana economy. You can play the game and they potentially can't even afford some of their cards. And that's it. It's just really strong. I'm considering Parasitic Wasp because it sort of ramps up when it kills mana cards, but it only makes more of itself, and I don't know. I used it in a tournament once and I really liked it. That's all I can say. Anyways, let's see. I think this is sort of all I'm going to talk about with your deck. I'm going to show another deck that I've made that's very similar to this. So yeah, we're running Shenlong. We're going to run cards. I think I did run Crabulus. It's a good card with Shenlong. Ran Griffin. Oh, Ripperoni. There we go. I don't think I had any weird history, so. Crabulus, Griffin, Shenlong. Sorry. I think we ran. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. I think Sludge and Exchange were still in it. I didn't run Barrier though. Exchange. So you're gonna use your cheap cards and then exchange them, and then turn them into cards like a Sludge later on in the game. So it plays like Manaless Aggro if Manaless Aggro had a top end. And you can run infinitely as long as you've done something with Shenlong. And the idea is like they play a mana card and you hop on top of them and then they have to move their king away and then you hit their mana card or something like that. I can't think of. I think it was literally just like attack cards at this point. So what's that card that Geomancer? Run 3 because you can exchange for it and it's pretty strong. But also because you get 15 mana for free if you're going second anyways. Castle Knight, always run Castle Knight. And then, are we looking for? I'm pretty sure we're just looking for another free card. I may have been running Wasp, but I don't think so. I think it was like a... Might have been Lava Golem. Probably not, though. I don't know. It very well could have been Lesser Vampire. But I'm pretty sure it would have been Icarus or something like that. Oh, or Wraithblade. But I don't think this deck ran Wraithblade. So let's just give either an Icarus or a Parasitic Wasp. It doesn't really matter. I'll go Icarus. Anyways, the idea here is similar. We have a top end, and we're just going to start with cheap cards to kill their mana cards. And then once we've killed all their mana cards, then we actually are the higher top end. And then it's just a matter of playing cards like Sludge. And this deck doesn't have to worry about Barrier because you have all these cards that are cheap and can kill the Barrier. So yeah. Um, Overall, if I'm gonna talk about the archetype Shenlong, I think it's the least explored. I think it's one of the coolest ones. And I think it isn't quite an OP deck yet, but I think it. Oh, and another card that I forgot to mention is that like instead of some of this stuff like Sludge, you can you can go into force cards, and force cards are really good. Especially, I think I actually didn't have enough top end in that deck. I think I could have removed like the last two zero cost cards and put in Psycho Fiend or Cephalopod if you're an insane person who prefers that card. Actually, I think Cephalopod's much better now that Dark Deal's gonna be meta. But anyways, all this and it's I think this deck can be really good, especially like with the exchange sort of tactic where you have a high early game and then you just exchange a card and buy a Cephalopod for free. Actually, cheaper than free. Um, and I think that a Rampy version with I don't know about cloning seeds in that deck. All you could have copied was like Crabulus, Shark Warrior. Yeah, I don't think you should run cloning seeds in that deck. But anyways, um, I do believe that. I'm sorry, I'm still thinking about cloning seeds, and I'm thinking now that Thousand Dies would have just been better. I guess not because it's from your deck. Oh no. No, yeah, I think Thousand Dies would have been a better card. It costs a little bit, but you have good mana. Um, but okay, back to the what I'm saying. I think Shenlong can be really strong. I think that a version that like actually ramps up with bottom feeder is fine, but I think that the exchange sort of gimmick is also going to be very strong. And yeah, uh, I like it. I think that this deck had a lot of optimizations it could have. So again, I think warp isn't quite necessary. I think there's a lot of one-ofs that could be fixed. Even the one-of barrier, technically, like it's excusable here, but I wonder if maybe it's better to just have two or better to have none. Um, Cloning seeds could have been Thousand Eyes, but overall, I like the concept, and I was gonna the deck that I just showed you guys mine. I was gonna bring something similar to that to the tournament if I was able to attend. So yeah, I like I like the I like the direction, and hey, it had some success. So congrats to Low Key. See ya.